something else that has been extremely relevant since the end of 2019 all the way to now has been online and online tournaments. Good old CFN. We already know what the circumstances are and why that has been the case. But something that's really interesting, I feel like, bro, is the fact that some players don't really enter online tournaments all too often. And then, let's say a CPT event comes around, they might actually go and enter CPT events, even though they weren't really active. So I'm interested in knowing what you think and talking and giving my take too on, you know, is it important to enter online tournaments outside of just the big CPT events? Like, do you think there's advantages to it? And do you think it's even perhaps like lazy to not do so?
Right. I think this is kind of harkening back to the Hurricane making a tweet about this. He mentioned that he thought EU has the laziest top players because they're not entering these online events.
Was that why? I know he brought up content stuff. I think he said something.
He mentioned that specifically, that they don't enter the online tournaments because, you know, him and a lot of other strong players in that region, they enter everything. Salt Mine League is going on weekly. They're in that every week, entering everything they can. But there's other players who don't take that same approach. And I don't know if I would call it lazy, though. I don't know if I would call it lazy because obviously there's players who just kind of don't want to play online because they don't want to play online. There's a personal bias there, or a personal reason why they don't want to enter the tournaments. But as someone who doesn't mind online events, and I've entered tons of them, I do think there's a difference in your approach and strategy depending on your own personal take. And I've kind of changed my philosophy about online events as well. You know, I used to enter NLBC every single week, even leading up to a big event, even leading up to CPT. I was going to every single tournament. But for this CPT, actually, in the Midwest one this year, that was the 2020 season when I did that. 2021, I didn't enter WNF, you know, the week of the tournament, the week before Red Bull Kumite. I didn't feel like spreading myself too thin. I kind of took a different approach. To me, I felt more inclined to stress less leading up to it because I'm kind of a person, I'm kind of like a high stress competitive player. Not everyone's like that, but that's kind of me. So to me, I said, hey, instead of doing that, let me just focus on preparing for the tournament, playing some battle lounges, labbing stuff, and kind of waiting to peak, right? Because the goal is to peak your performance at the right time. And I do think there's something big to that. You're not going to always play 100% every event. You're just not. There's going to be variance in your own play. You always want to raise your average level of play over time. You're going to have dips and valleys, of course, and peaks and valleys and all that. But you want a general trend over time. So I believe heavily in trying to time when you peak for a tournament is huge.
To the original point, I do think that if you are a serious player, who, you know, if you're really trying to qualify for Capcom Cup or things like that, even we had Intel World Open earlier in the year, we had EVO Online. There's so many big online events over these last couple of years. I think surely that you should be practicing heavily in the online environment. Now, I'm not saying you should be playing in 5-6 online tournaments a week or anything like that. But at the same time, like when it's available to you and there's going to be other decent or good competitors there, I would say the big thing now is more so the mental side of it. I think if you don't play in the online environment regularly and you're just taking in assault from people's tweets and so on and so forth, like, then when you are actually trying to play in that CPT event, now it's in the back of your head or maybe even in front of your mind. Oh, it's online. Oh, who knows? Oh, I'm worried. And now you're going to be overthinking it. Whereas like, yo, I'm playing in this all the time. I'm training in this every day. I'm playing in tournaments weekly. So by the time CPT comes around, I guarantee you, I'm not thinking about online. Not one match that I think about online in CPT, you know, but I regularly put myself there. You know, so I feel like if you're not putting yourself in that spot, then it can be rough for you. So if you're trying to be a serious competitor, man, like, or, you know, if this is something that you do, like, seriously, hours and hours and hours, why not give yourself the best way that you can practice possible, you know, for that event? Just like we're going to be going offline, going from PC to PS4. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to boot up my PS4 and I'm going to practice on my PS4 a whole lot, right? that's the smart thing to do. So I think as a competitor, that's how we should go about it.
Of course. I mean, yeah, for us, like the CPT events are like NLBC plus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like,
you're right.
It's the same competitors almost. It's the same people.
Yeah.
Just maybe a few extra people, a few more players who maybe like don't regularly as enter. Maybe there's more, like the bracket is more distributed in terms of skill levels, right? Because NLBC is pretty top heavy. Now you're gonna have people from all different skill ranges, and so maybe some more mid-tier players, some people you might have to watch out for.
They can catch you still.
Right. There's gonna be more of those for sure. But the top level is most likely to be mostly the same, barring some exceptions. But that said, it's also like free intel. If you are doing online events in your region, your CPT online event is going to be your region. Yes. I don't know. I feel like you're so prepared. Like I had no surprises when I went into my Midwest event, right? Because I played with these guys in both WNF and NLBC. So I feel like for most of these regions, I don't know, I feel like you're missing out. And beyond even just like preparing for tournaments, I feel like as the scene, the health of the scene, online is what we got, baby, right now. I feel like you're doing a disservice to the scene by not entering events. I mean, not saying you have to enter everything, but I think it does a net positive for the scene to see known strong players continue to show their dominance online and not just abandon the scene.
Yeah, it's more fun for the viewers to watch. That's a great point you brought up here, bro. It's more fun for the viewers and even for the competitors entering.
And I think there is enough benefits for it. You still want to stay sharp. I still think there are benefits for preparing for your CPT event, which is what the main, I think, focus of these years is qualify for CPT through online, right? So there's benefits there, helps the community, helps the fellow competitors, grows the scene. To me, I feel like you don't have to do it, but you're probably doing yourself a little bit of a disservice and you're doing the community a bigger disservice. So I would love to see more people, if they have the ability to, support their online locals, support their weeklies, because I think we all benefit in the end from that.